2, 1. Fragments of Silicon. Join us this week in the search for the fourth E.
Welcome to our actual episode of Fragments of Silicon for the week. I know it might be a bit hard to discern, given we've had a lot of content lately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's kind of how it rolls when you're in the gaming industry and it's E3 week. Now, I'm your host Adam. Joining me, as always, are Ogre,
Yellow,
Petty Fan,
Hey.
Alex,
hi,
and Twilight.
yo.
All right. Well, let's start with the news. Petty Fan, why don't you go?
Well, let's see. I had some doctor's appointments Monday, which is why we couldn't do the Ubisoft E3 thing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, not a whole lot to report on that. Just come back if nothing changes in a couple months, really. Aside from that, it's been hot, and I've had to do yard work.
The Eternal Saga Petty Fan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
One day we're gonna say screw it and get rid of the hedges out front and just put down AstroTurf and be done with it. One day. Aside from that, E3 stuff has been interesting, but we'll have more of our thoughts on that next week. Next.
Yeah. All right, Alex.
Well, I haven't been able to see all the E3 stuff because I've had work, but I have been interested in what I've actually seen, especially the Nintendo stuff, but that's obviously because I'm primarily a Nintendo person. I'm excited for a lot of the things they showed off, and I'm actually kind of excited for some of the other things they showed on other things too, even though I won't get to play them, like Beyond Good and Evil 2 I'm interested in because I really like the idea of the first game, even if I've never actually played it.
I thought that was coming to PC as well.
Yeah.
It is, but my PC isn't great.
Well, you should be able to play Beyond Good and Evil. It's a game...
Okay, I never did play the original one. I'm not sure if I'll be able to play the new one.
Actually, if you have modern version of Windows, you cannot play Beyond Good and Evil because it's incompatible, and Ubisoft never released a patch for it.
Okay, then I can't.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Ubisoft's early releases were pretty terrible on PC some of the time. Like, I've actually played the Beyond and Good and Evil PC version. It's honestly one of the worst ports I've ever played.
Yeah, and if you have the Steam version, you can't mod it because of one of the DRMs they use.
Yeah.
But I think if you find a box copy somewhere, you might be able to get a compatibility mod in there.
Yeah, it's like...
At that point, I'd rather just try to find an old PS2 and a physical copy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that would cost $1 zillion.
Well, they also released a HD version on the Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network a few years ago. So
anyway, I could theoretically maybe play the original, but I have not yet. And I'm interested in how the series progresses. Because I thought the original game was a cool idea.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I beat 100%ed Beyond Good and Evil back in the day. I think it's rather overrated, but that's a topic of discussion for another time.
Cough, cough, close to the release date Beyond Good and Evil 2. Cough, cough.
Something like that. But, it comes down to the length of the game and the 11th hour plot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but more on that at a later time.
Anyway, besides game stuff, I have a pretty busy couple weeks coming up. One of my friends is getting married this weekend, and then I'm going to a convention next weekend. So that should be fun, but probably a little stressful. And that's all I have for this week.
Okay. Twilight, what about you?
Well, I've also been watching D3 stuff, of course, and haven't seen it all, but for the most part, I've seen some good stuff. I got my. Besides that, we recently discovered a leak, oil leak in my mom's car. It's concerning. And besides that, this weekend I went and seen Wonder Woman. It's good, not amazing though. And besides that, eagerly awaiting Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, Stormblood.
Woo!
And that's about it. Ogre.
God, it's been kind of a week, hasn't it?
It's only Wednesday.
God, it is only Wednesday. How is it only Wednesday? E3's been kind of a... Well, it's been here because we're all gamers, so we have to talk about E3.
We're all gamers who do
duty.
we're all gamers who do a podcast.
Yeah, we are part of the gaming industry. I know it's weird to say, but we have professional people who do their professional games, talk professionally every damn week. So,
let's see. This week we had to record at a different day. Today, actually, because Naka's schedule is a little preempted by another cat coming into their life. Which, if
Once you have one cat, you can never stop getting more cats.
Yeah, which if you want to hear more about that, I'm pretty sure he'll bring it up on a stream at some point.
He brought it up Friday.
Yeah, but
He did.
Let's see. We went out afterwards to pick up the new hard drive and the Windows 10 so I can upgrade tomorrow, since there will be downtime for some reason. And boy, let me tell you, was that a harrowing little event for some reason. Because we went by to the local Best Buy. They had the hard drive, but turns out the only version of Windows 10 they had was the Spanish version. So we had to go across town to go to the other Best Buy to grab the English version. Which I looked at Naka right in the face and went like, you know what? If this is the only hassle we'll have with this, I can live with it.
You do know it's not.
I know better than that, but I can only hope for so much. Let's see. Eagerly waiting Friday for Stormblood's release. Hopefully I got early access. There was some weird... They, sent me the email, but I think I have early access.
Go to Mog Station. It'll tell you point blank.
Yeah, it did have that little circle there, so that's why I'm assuming I have early access. But, they actually had a blood drive at E3 for Stormblood, which I found hilariously too on point about the whole thing. They actually had a good, sizable crowd, too, so I'm kind of happy they let that happen. Let me see. Unfortunately, though, halfway through the day, I have to have another appointment somewhere, so I'm going to have to cut my day short there. Which is why I'm making chili tomorrow, so we can have chili on Friday, so when we come back from the appointment, I can just go, bam, there's supper later.
Yeah. And then, meanwhile, it turns into the race to 70.
I have no doubt that Elk will beat us there, if he gets early access this time.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get it last time, and he was very miffed about that.
I think his main account has it, at least.
Imagine.
Yeah. He had early access last time, but it wouldn't let him access it, so he was very nonplussed about the whole thing. And let me see.
Well, how did the actual recording go?
Considering it wasn't an RPG, it was over before. It like took an hour and we were done, and I was like, oh, so this is what it was like for, 6 months prior. But yeah, just a couple more small games, maybe a medium-sized one, and then we'll worry about bigger things later on. I'm not in any rush.
Any hints to what's coming?
No,
Aw,
not really.
I tried, guys.
But I think that's about it.
All right, I guess it's my go.
Yep.
Let's see. Geez. Well, as mentioned, it's been it's E3 week, so it's been mostly filled with covering streams or watching streams, or, just everything to do with E3, except ironically enough, our main show here, which is not about E3 but Final Fantasy XIV. This is kind of give me a break because we covered 4 conferences, and if you want to see that footage, it's both on YouTube and some highlights have been imported to YouTube, but everything is still here on Twitch. Has that been preserved yet?
Yeah, everything is highlighted. So yeah, it's all good.
All right. And outside of that, been dealing with some personal stuff involving my younger brother. He had to go to the hospital recently for surgery. And it's like, he's doing fine right now, but we are concerned about some things, like that. It's like we're concerned about, certain
things you're not at liberty to talk about right now.
Well, it's a heavy topic, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. But like I said, he's doing fine. It was apparently a pretty bloody operation because, he had to have a growth removed, from his hand, and right now they're seeing, it's being taken to the lab and seeing if it's cancerous or not. This is kind of why I'm, recalcitrant to discuss it in any length, because it obviously
you don't even know that many details yet, so
yeah, it's like this is what's going on here, and hopefully it's benign. It's like is all I can say at this point. It's like outside of that, not really anything else other than it's the rainy season down here.
Can you send that rain this way? I'd rather have rain than heat.
You say that now, but you don't have to fucking deal with the humidity that generates.
I live near a river. I kind of know.
Fuck. It's like going out like
you still don't live in Florida.
Yeah, it's like, you don't know what it's like to go outside and it feels like pea soup. Everything's just so sticky. But that aside, I think that's the news for the week. So now we shall roll along to the interview portion of the broadcast. And as mentioned, in a break with our usual format, we have Drak from the Gamestein YouTube channel with us.
Close. Drak Gamestein he has his own YouTube channel, basically.
Sorry.
No problem.
As long as one of us gets it right?
Yeah, that's fine. You've got all the info on the
Feel free to call us Fragile Silicon Mints.
Anyway.
Silicon Mints. Oh.
Anyway, so this is about Final Fantasy XIV, so this is where I step away. I don't play the game. I barely know anything about it. Have at it, guys.
Alright, so... Where to begin? Where to begin? Because, yeah, for, I guess, those of you who don't know, this is technically the last night of Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. Tomorrow the servers go down for maintenance, and they're not going back up till it updates to 4.0 Stormblood.
A lot of
Bring a tear
excitement
to my
there.
eye.
I'm happy. I'm very happy to leave Heavensward in the dust. Too much snow for my taste.
I'll miss you, Bloodbath.
Yeah,
You're doing so
Alright.
well with Fight and Flight.
yeah. Oh, so I guess we can start with the job changes, because oh boy, they've reworked everything.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Lord, have they?
They definitely weren't bluffing with the battle system changes and how extensive they were going to be. I'm personally happy with most of them.
Yeah, there are a few little things with paladins I kind of wish they didn't change, but overall I like the changes.
Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction, and we'll see what they do with it throughout the rest of the expansion.
Yeah, like
I wasn't too thrilled to see Monk's potency drop on their weapon skills by 10 each.
Yeah, I figured it was because we're going to be getting like Forbidden Chakra so
Yeah.
often now,
Yeah.
so there's going to be
Brotherhood's
that
gonna
DPS
give
increase.
you Forbidden Chakra what almost every other GCD.
It depends on what you have going out, and then you're definitely going to get it a lot more because of the crit bonus that you get for it. Because Bushine has the automatic crit, so you have a 30% chance right there to get a chakra back. And then anytime you're using Brotherhood,
Which is
anytime
why
somebody
they-
uses a weapon skill, yeah.
Which is why they tank the hell out of Forbidden Chakra's potency, because they figured, oh yeah, they're going to be launching more of this.
It's just
Yeah.
gonna be a machine gun of fists.
Only if they bring back 100 Fists.
Yeah. I was disappointed with Monk that it's one of the only ones, I think White Mage is the only other one that doesn't get a gauge of some sort. It's just a reskin stack system. So nothing
now,
really.
how do you do Monk in an MMO that's heavily gear based?
The monks use gauntlets.
Yeah, it's,
Instead of
they
just
have
bare
like
knuckles.
special monk armors.
Yeah.
yeah, it's the leather. So you got the light armor, not quite the cloth, but the.
Well, I think
Usually-
some of their stuff is actually cloth, but yeah.
Yeah, for the
Okay, I
most,
get
that's the
that makes sense.
classification.
Yeah.
That it usually goes under. At least in crafting, it's typically made from leatherworker. At least when you get into the max levels.
Sorry, I
Unless
will
they-
probably be interjecting with general Final Fantasy questions about
Oh
14,
no, that's fine.
because
That's-
I'm a fan of the franchise in general, but I've never done any of the MMOs.
That's actually
Yeah.
fine for people in the audience who don't know about Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah. No, we had a long discussion. We recently did a few podcasts going over the healer, DPS, and tank changes, and I just uploaded those
Yeah.
for people to argue over. We try and stay neutral because we do our research to a fair extent. We're not theory crafters, but we do look into how to play the classes the best that we can.
Oh my god, Samurai looks so fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it looks amazing.
Especially if they
so-
keep it where its only utility is kill all of the things.
Oh yeah. Oh, those potencies are fantastic. They've released a few videos on Twitter, people taking screenshots or video of the screens for E3, going over the updated tooltips and stuff like that for the builds that they have. So a lot of the confusion is fixed there, and it's interesting.
Is the one samurai thing still 150 or 50%?
50% increase.
And
in
it's only for the
potency.
next weapon skill, right?
Yes.
Well, we know what
So
we're
it's-
using it on, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's no question about
There
that.
is only one choice for this.
So yeah, that I'm really excited because Samurai itself has brought a lot of utility to a melee DPS class. Like they just have the best of everything right now, aside from the buffing your party or debuffing the boss, which you have
It
from
kind of
ninja
does if
and-
you, yeah, if you don't have a ninja or a warrior, then the samurai will be useful.
yeah, for the slashing debuff, I suppose, because it's built into the rotation, so it's
so
not
your
something.
Dark Knight and Paladin will love you.
Yeah, definitely. Since I think warriors lost their slashing debuff.
No, they get it on MAME now.
Oh, okay. So it just okay. I've been confused.
Main being
One of the tiers of their combos. It's just an ability warrior has.
Yeah.
so like they inflict a slashing debuff on the opponent after a certain number of hits in a combo, or
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think
they have
Main's the
a-
second hit.
yeah, second hit of one of their alternate combos. I think it's their DPS
Okay.
combo now.
Yeah, the way that the combat works is that it's based on these weapon skills that are on this global cooldown. It's about 2.5 seconds default, and the subsequent weapon skills get buffed depending on the prerequisite that you use. So it's usually like the second in the skill set, and then when you use it in that order, it gives you that buff. Usually, before it gave you a what was it, attack power buff?
Yeah.
I think that got moved to Path, right? Or is that I?
Path just gives you straight up more beast gauge.
Okay, so that was I that it switched to. All right.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep up. There's a lot of changes, so
Yeah.
I figured for most of the classes I would figure out. As
I
I'm
mean,
playing
worst
them.
case, where's Corey at?
Yeah, we went into quite a bit of it, and he did try to get as much info as he could, but with everything that's been released, the media tours only had an April build, so those were a little old, and those have been changed since in a few
Yeah.
areas.
Like, I know they did a
And,
lot of tweaking to White Mage because people
Yeah.
weren't happy.
Yeah, and that's good. Like that's one of the things that I had released a video about, like going into Stormblood and being better off with their criticism. And a lot of people took that as you're just telling people to be nice to Squeenix. I'm like, no, you have to be detailed with the criticisms that you give, or you're going to get nothing back.
yeah,
And
you don't say White Mage sucks. You say White Mage doesn't have enough to do outside of the or whatever.
exactly.
One of the biggest issues I have with the new White Mage is all of their utility is now put in the crossroll system. There's
That's
technically
a very
no
legitimate
real
one, yeah.
reason to bring a White Mage because Scholar and Astro can do everything that was White Mage specific now.
What
Yeah.
do they usually do? Just like have heal over time auras and stuff like that?
They
or-
they're now the heavy healer, basically.
Yeah, I think they were mostly the regen healer because they
Yeah.
had regen, their AOE heal. The
Their-
second level one was a regen.
Also, Divine Seal, Shroud of Saints.
Yeah, so Divine Seal increasing the potency of your heals, and then Shroud of Saints, which is mana regeneration. All
And
that.
enmity
I mean,
down
every
as well.
healer had that as far as the mana regeneration, but they consolidated it all into one. But then Scholar also has Aether Flow, which gives you these stacks to consume higher powered spells. But as soon as you use it, you get mana back from there.
And
So-
doesn't Astro have like lucid dreaming or something like that?
I think everybody's getting. Is that only Astro?
I thought that was Astro's. I could ask my Astro in a minute.
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely. I just know that everybody now gets the generic mana return, but Scholar still has the advantage because Aetherflow, they're not going to touch that, or you'd have people up in arms.
Okay.
Armed
So-
revolts.
Oh yeah, it'd be you'd never be so scared of fairies in your life. Like Peter Pan, just went nuts. But yeah, somebody was saying in a comment. I'll usually reply to people who want to contest what we've said because I'm not against people challenging our views on things as long as they do it in like, hey, you said this and this is what I think because ABC. They have actual logic behind their.
They're not. You
their
don't.
argument.
You said something I don't agree with. You suck.
Yeah, and those I just usually either delete or I leave them alone. Just like I'm not dealing with that. But the people who are just like, you said this, but I think it's this way, and I'll be like, well, this is our thinking behind it. Oh, well, this is our thinking. So we're getting into that, and one person was talking about he thought his tone was a little aggressive. I was like, no, it's fine. You don't have to be like kissing my ass just to make a point, just for me to listen to you.
That's literally the
so-
entire point of the video.
Yeah, there was another, because we were talking. He made a point that he didn't like what Corey said about the tank changes, because the math that he looked up and all his research. So I was like, okay, he's making good points, and Corey never responds to YouTube comments, but that one he actually did because the guy was so had very legitimate concerns, and so he was like, I didn't mean to come off like combative or competitive. I was just, sometimes you got to do that, and like with the white mage thing, things got done. I was like, oh, dude, I don't disagree. Sometimes you got to make noise. I am perfectly okay with that. I've said my
the
criticisms
noise
of
made might have actually saved the white mage job for 4.0.
Yeah, so it's a good thing because Square has it in their head how they want it to work, and which is part of what Yoshida said during the live letter yesterday. Right, that was yesterday.
I think it was
yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that one yet. I need to go look that up.
There was this big uproar because he was just like, basically, just calm down, guys. People were like, how can you just tell us to calm down? I was like, he said something after it. He's saying we checked to see if it was going to work in raid. We want it to be. We don't want any class to be left out, basically, of raid utility. Everything should be viable, and that's what we've tested for. But they still have the idea of what they want the game to be, which may not be what the fans want. And so that's when you say, no, Square, that's not cool with us. And then they go, okay, well, what do you want? And then you lay it out, and then they'll try and fix it into their formula. But then they learn. Hopefully for the next time, this is what the fans like. It's the same thing with Bard and Machinist. They've changed.
Bow Mage is dead.
Yeah, they did that. But even at the beginning of Heaven's Ward in about 3.2, I think, they switched up potencies and stuff like that to better accommodate the player base and their play style.
And also, like, the tank changes they did in early 3.0. Because we were having a lot of trouble keeping hate.
Oh, yeah. I was upset about that because my whole job as a DPS was to rip threat off of the tank. Like, that's how I knew I was doing a good job. And now they gave us a cross skill for 4.0 saying, oh, this will reduce your aggro. I'm like, I don't want that. I want the boss to hit me because then I can laugh at my tank.
You want Corey and Jesse to wake the fuck up.
Yeah. Though, of course, Corey now has the ability to pass off 25% of his aggro to anybody.
Yeah, I told my raid healer, if you rescue me out of my samurai finisher, you're getting all of my hate when I tank.
Oh, yeah. People are like, Seabass is going to troll you. I was like, Seabass knows how pissed off I'll be if he does that to me. There are certain lines you don't cross. I hated those mechanics. T4 was one of my favorite raid fights in the Binding Coil because I didn't like A2, but I loved T4. I think that was the way that it should have been done. But they had these knights in there that would suck you in, and I absolutely hated that mechanic. I don't like getting jerked around on screen.
Kind of like turn Binding Coil
It's just
of...
an abbreviation.
Yeah, the Binding Coil of Bahamut turn 4.
Yeah.
So people say T4, and so the Alexander is A, and then whatever floor they do it for there. But I will be so pissed off at people. Like, I'll lose my cool completely. I just hope it doesn't happen on stream because I'll just go off on these guys who are like, you don't fucking do that to me. Do you know who I am? I won't go that
Unless Seabass does it, because then you know he was doing it for Yak.
I'll find a way. I have in our free company, there's a rank that I use for Corey when because I'm kind of anal with the gill in the chest. I like it to be even number. I like zeros. So he would put in like 1,325 or something like that. I'm like, knock it off, and I'd take it out or put more in to even it off. And he kept doing it, so I put him into a role or a rank that didn't have access to anything. It was just called Fuckboy, and I left him in that for about 5 months. So he had to have his girlfriend do everything or set up company buffs for him because I gave her permissions after that, but I didn't give them back to him for the longest time.
Renamed to Doghouse.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but yeah. Somebody's saying in the chat, not enough shoulder tackle to fight that rescue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoulder tackle is another thing I was underwhelmed with the changes in 4.0 for Monk.
Yeah, it's
I like how it's elemental this time around.
It's like I like the idea behind it, but
Like
overall
you
it
could
doesn't
choose an
make
element,
sense.
or like they gave an element to shoulders.
Monk has 3 different fist types, and they come in fire, earth, and wind. And they're making it so that when you get like a certain trait or something, that the shoulder tackle will reflect upon that, and so you'll get like an earth shoulder tackle, fire shoulder tackle, and a wind shoulder tackle.
Okay.
And they have different potencies and different effects to them. Like the wind one has a half potency, but you can use it twice in a row.
Yeah. Earth is a knockback, and fire doesn't it just hit really, really hard?
Yeah, it's got the usual potency, but it also has, because Fist of Fire is the damage boost, Fist of Wind is movement speed up, and Fist of Earth is damage reduction.
I kind of wish that the Fist of Earth one was like a debuff on the enemy.
I'm fine with the knockback. Like, I get what you're saying. The knockback is good in my opinion, but they should have switched Wind to like a longer range, because that would make sense in my mind for movement speed. Like if you're trying to, because in A12, the final flight of the tier, you're running like across the map so that you don't get killed, but you can still get back to the boss in time from the AoEs going out. So being able to shoulder tackle from a farther distance would be really helpful. Whereas if you move the double shoulder tackle, like split Earths in half, the first one's a knockback, and then you get another shoulder tackle to close the distance. That would make sense to me. But right now, you're knocking something out of your range. Sure, you interrupt them, but you could have done that with the other one and just stunned it. So to me, it's not very intuitive. So that's one of the issues I have with the new Monk kit.
Yeah. It's like, although, like, one of the biggest issues people have been having with Monk is very little raid utility, so it's like, giving shoulder tackle a debuff, like when you pull, basically, that would be kind of nice to kind of help with the raid utility issue. At least in my opinion. But
they gave it Brotherhood, and they thought that would be that's raid utility. I'm like, oh, if you say so, guys.
Yeah.
That's what you want. It's just like a 5% increase to people in range. I'm like, it's not nothing. But it's still like super selfish for monks, and I've always said that monks are a very selfish and self-centered job, because
and
we
Samurai multiplies that by 17.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you still get the chakra from it, because like that's it. You buff other people, like, oh yeah, here's your 5%. Now give me all that chakra. Thank you. Okay.
Give me your soul.
Yeah, it's a very selfish spirit bomb. So that's how we've been looking at it.
These guys have made a mistake. Oh, I'm muttering to myself about Summel Hard. Fire everywhere.
Yeah, I see it's getting a little crowded on that map there. Yeah, they touched on quite a bit though for the live letter yesterday. Changes. It really comes down to like, we'll see when we get in it, and that's kind of the.
I love the people were already coming up with new openers and everything.
Yeah.
With the information they got, and I was like, guys, it's not out yet. Wait for it. Stuff could change easily.
The problem with theory crafting is that it's only a theory.
Yeah, right. I could understand people getting hyped and like, this is just going to hold me over until we actually get into the game. What bugged me was when people were like on this hate train. Like, there's a difference between people being like, I don't think White Mage is going to have the right utility. Can you look at this Square? To White Mage is dead. Everything's on fire. Fuck Square. They've ruined us. It was just like this mentality that was adopted.
Honestly, my personal thought on that, White Mage wouldn't have been dead with the way it was. It just wouldn't have really been useful until later in the Stormblood life cycle. At least that's my thought on it.
Until there was a lot of stuff that could do so much damage that nothing else would be able to heal it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
from
I don't know.
3.
Alexander already seems to do that good enough, so.
Well, it's like from 3.0 to where we are now, tanks have gained almost 30,000 HP.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, your extra Vite helps healing a little bit, but not enough that it really scales as well. At least from what I've seen. I could be wrong.
30,000 HP doesn't mean much when the boss shaves off half of it in one shot.
Mhm.
Yeah, we will be getting things that hit a lot harder.
Yeah.
But the
Especially
armor won't
since
scale.
the what people are thinking with the Savage Omega is it's going to be around creator difficulty, which I am fine with this.
Yeah, Creator was a good. I would have been happy with Midas personally because Midas did have really cool mechanics and.
The only issue I had with Midas is if one person screwed up, the entire group was screwed. Where if creator, if you can still salvage it if somebody screws
yeah.
up.
There's a lot more forgiveness in Creator, definitely.
Yeah, like Midas. If I had $1 for every time I wiped our group in A5, I would be a rich man right now. You didn't do Hallowed Ground at the right time. God damn it.
Yeah. Or you did, and the server tick just wasn't your friend.
I'm so glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
Especially because this was before the cooldowns reset after you died, so we'd be waiting 5 minutes to try again on pulling double Faust.
Oh boy, yeah. But
Faust.
I will forever love that Square Enix went out of their way to listen to everyone's sorrow at Faust on A1 Savage and just went like, all right, here's 2 Faust, then a humble Faust, and then come A9, it was here's Faust Z, who's the final version, and just in the middle of the fight, Full Metal Faust.
Yeah.
The trigger of Jesse.
Oh yeah, it was great. Oh, good times. Good times. I love the Final Fantasy XIV team. They do a good job for people. Most of the people who have a problem just because they didn't get what they wanted specifically, but like just the amount that they've actually done for the community, the amount the community team puts stuff out for us, and the fact that Yoshida talks to us directly.
Yeah, that's.
He may not always give the answers that we like, but he still takes the time.
I can't talk about this right now. Cough, cough.
Yeah.
Please look forward to it.
He's the best. I love him.
Yeah, it's like one of these days we need to have the somebody from the Final Fantasy XIV team on the show. One day, they're on the list.
Hell of a pull, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, but I'm sure you would be really, really happy with that poll.
Well, it would be interesting.
It would
Say
be.
that much at least.
But yeah. So, also apparently, brain, what's going on? With Shirogane, how it's not going to be open on launch because that's going to be a fun day when that happens. People scalping houses.
That'll be a video in itself.
Oh yeah.
Just intense battle music in the housing district as people try and get their desired plot.
Wars, war sound effects going off.
Yeah, just the was it the Stockholm syndrome or not what is it? The scream.
Wilhelm scream?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Wilhelm scream. Just in the background. Yeah.
Especially if you can get some people who are just able to get on top of the house and jump off and crap.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great.
Excuse me, I need to go edit some things, right?
Yeah.
It's really bad explosion effects.
Yeah. The stock.
Quick, talk to Denmo.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, he could probably do some magic there.
The wheels are turning. Videos are coming out.
Yeah. I really like being a part of his latest music video that he did.
Mhm.
He did Size. I love it. With Mr. Face. That was a good time. I had to level a character all the way to 15 just so that I could get into Sestasha on a different server to be in with him, because Larry Zor is on Cactuar. So that's on the Aether data center while I'm on Primal. Denmo and I are on Primal. So we had to level different characters just to get in for that one shot for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That was it.
Me and Ogre are on Aether too, so that's kind of fun. I do like how small our server is, though, that, you know, because one of my problems with WoW is literally the first day I was on there and asking for, you know, help with the quest, 4 different people told me to go kill myself, so...
Oh,
Are the servers all about the same size, or because they have the servers that are named after what Zodiac things or whatever?
They're named like various different things. Like we're on the Genova server, so
Oh, right. This time they're named after old Final Fantasy things. Well, not
Yeah.
old. But...
They can be named after primals, they can be named after enemies.
Was it in 11 where they were named after the totemas or something?
they were named after the summons in 11.
Yeah.
I was on Sylph. I remember that one.
But yeah, it's like, that's one of the things I like about Final Fantasy XIV's community, though, unless you're on the Reddit. They're pretty helpful. Like, yeah, the Reddit is an entirely different place, though. This is... Sometimes you can get people who are helpful, and sometimes you can get total assholes.
Well, Reddit's kind of Reddit.
Yeah.
I was very hesitant, because that's where we got our start, actually, on the videos. Somebody's like, oh, you should post this to Reddit. And my experience with Reddit was like, oh, I think Beastmaster and Red Mage would be cool jobs that they could do in the game. And people were like, you're fucking stupid. I'm like, okay. It's like, I don't think I'm going to post
this would be a neat job to have. Kill yourself, faggot. Okay.
Yeah, like, that's what you get. I'm like, I don't think I deserve that.
And then you what, mate?
Does Beastmaster in these games just give you a permanent pet?
Well, we already have a pet job in Final Fantasy XIV. Well, technically 2, but they're half of a whole.
Yeah.
Summoner and Scholar.
Yeah.
Puppet Master. God, I wish.
Puppet Master Tank. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'd still do it.
The wish list.
Yeah, I'm sure we all have a wish list of stuff we want.
Oh, Blue Mage is probably very high up there for most everyone else.
I think Blue Mage is one of the hardest classes to implement, especially if it's not there from the start.
They did pretty well in 11, so I'm pretty sure they could find some way to do it here.
Well, yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of my understanding of how they did it in 11 either. But that's because I'm a big Blue Mage fan, and I'm kind of a purist to the Final Fantasy V and the Tactics Advanced version.
Yeah, honestly, 14 could probably have a decent iteration of it. You know, just get your skills from fighting the primals. But
yeah,
the thing about Blue Mages is you have to either add in ways to learn all of the abilities you want them to have, or at least all of the abilities that you want to be blue magic spells, or you have to retroactively make things give you that.
Yeah. The way
that was a hard thing, I think, in 11, is that a lot of the stuff that is blue magic was already enemy skills in places, and it was designed in ways that wouldn't work exactly the same for a blue mage, so they had to... I think 11 has, the most original blue mage skills. Just because a lot of the basic ones don't work. Plus, they kind of mix it up with a monk, which is weird, but...
It was very interesting. So I remember being able to get, I think, Meteor by doing one of the higher level burning circles with Behemoth, and you had to get hit with it. So I remember doing that a couple times with a friend.
Yeah.
I was actually watching Very Merry during a stream because they did their free login month during May. So there, just sitting there, like basically slapping this monster until it used a certain ability on him. He was trying not to kill it, so he was just waiting. Come on, use this ability. I want this ability. And it would use it, and then it wouldn't proc. And he's like, "Son of a bitch!" And he'd have to go through and do another one. Oh,
yeah,
good
it's
time.
a pain. That's why they work well with classes that can make monsters do certain things every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's kind of like with the primal fights. You could literally just get the skill after beating the primal, which would be nice.
Pretty sure they'll do something fine like that, because most the story quests for your class, you get a skill afterwards, so they could
So-
easily slip that into where it's like,
How many primals are there?
oh shit, how many are there?
I can't look. I'm in the middle of a dungeon. That's on you, Ogre.
Oh
More-
god, I couldn't tell you
more
off the top of
20?
my head. I honestly, at this point, probably around 20-ish or so. Because
Okay, I guess that's reasonable.
that really gets into the point of what you consider a primal and not. So
Well, I'm probably just going off what they actually are. Actually, are the primals, including Bahamut, Phoenix, and Alexander. I included
Yeah.
those on the list. So we have Ifrit, Shiva.
that's what you need is a blue mage who knows Aquamarine.
So these are things that were mostly are things that were summons in other games.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah,
exception of
Yeah.
Ravana, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Ravana, I think, is their first original
Yeah.
primal.
Yeah.
And isn't there one coming for Stormblood?
Susano, I think, is the new one. Lakshima is one that's been in before.
I thought we had Susano before. Well, not in 14, but he was a summon in other games.
Yeah, if you're thinking about Shin Megami Tensei, then probably, but I don't remember.
Well, no,
Susano
Final
before.
Fantasy. I could be wrong.
Lakshmi was Starland 6.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which I'm curious how her story element's going to play out.
I have mixed feelings about linking blue mages just to like summon level monsters, but it could.
Well,
work.
that's what I was saying. Is like the jobs have different. Do you have your quest to do your jobs, and you get your skills after doing said job, so you can always get blue magic afterwards. From there.
Like
That
one of
makes
your
sense.
quests could be go fight Ifrit,
Yeah.
and then
I
you
think
get
that's
one of
what they would-
Ifrit's skills.
Oh yeah, or go kill X goblins and then you get Goblin Punch.
Yeah.
Go kill Alexander.
That's been the big thing, is that a lot of the abilities, or at least 4 or 5 of the abilities that you get for your jobs, are unlocked through job quests. So they could sneak it in there somehow. So it was the same with the summoner in their summons. You had to do the job quest to unlock a few of them.
Yeah.
So I could see that happening.
Gonna be
Red-
mowing lawns come Friday.
They had a similar challenge though with Red Mage, trying to find a place for that. I know was in discussion for a while on how it would be Red Mage, but for Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, did they
And,
figure out how Red Mage melee's attacks are going to work? If they're going to be uninspected, or are they going to work off their int?
I actually don't know.
Yeah, if they actually go off their strength, either they need to have one hell of a strength buff, or their potencies are going to be really stupid.
Yeah, I think the way that they did that is that with enough of your mana gauges full, it buffs your that gives buffs to your melee attacks.
And what are the red mages getting? Something about where they can cast spells when they do melee attacks, or
Chain
They
spell.
They get dual cast.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
cast
okay.
a spell, and they can immediately cast another spell following it.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can cure yourself and then res somebody, or cure yourself and blow somebody up.
Just
Yeah.
like an 11.
The way that they have it set up right now is that there are short cast spells and then there are long cast spells. So I think the idea is to cast your short spell. I think it's Jolt, or Jolt 2, and then it's like 3-second cast, and then you go and immediately cast the 5-second spell, or the spell with the 5-second cast time, but it's instant. And so then you use that, and then you build up your mana, and then you go in for the melee attack, and if you've got enough mana, you do your disengage, and then you have Ver Flare and Ver Holy. And you use, I think Mary said, if your black mana is higher, then you use Ver Holy, and vice versa, and then you get to immediately cast the opposite.
Yeah, you just have to have them slightly uneven, or else you proc nothing in your bone.
Yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
oh my god,
What kind of engineering degree do I need to understand this?
Yeah, it's a lot better to like look at it in practice because I didn't understand it for a second. Like just reading it and hearing what people were talking about, I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, samurai, I'm off. See you guys later.
Yeah, I
so,
just
so
need
their
to...
initial spells are on the weaker end, but they can get stronger ones by casting them in a row.
It's just how many you can get in a shorter amount of time, more or
Okay.
less. So Jolt is like your basic one, and then hi cat, thank you. After that, then you get the more powerful spells, and then after you build up your mana through those, then you do the melee combo, and that's your burst, like your bursty burst. And yeah, it's a very situational job. It's not rotation based like most of the other classes available right now. Extremely versatile too, with its gap closer and disengage as well that you could use.
Yeah,
Not even
two
for the
people in
combo, just
our
for
raid team want to go give Red Mage a shot.
Freaking red
I'm one of
mages.
them.
The warriors get gap closers and paladins get stuck with holy.
Yeah, seriously, why do we not have Shield Rush?
Good question. That would be amazing.
I'm still pulling for a trait called Flashbang that just adds damage to your flash because it makes too much sense to have a trait called Flashbang.
I was kind of hoping for Holy Flash, but we're kind of getting it.
What about Dark Holy? That's a thing sometimes.
We finally got an AoE skill on Paladin that I've been asking for since 1.0. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think everybody across the board is happy about that. Like, finally we get one. Oh man, they've gotten boned. Oh, but you get Circle of Scorn.
You want to see our AoE rotation? That's it.
Yeah.
Now our AoE
45
rotation is God tier. Okay,
Yeah,
not
it
quite that
looks-
good, but oh, we're gonna have fun. I'm
Yeah,
kind
I
of
told
sad my raid team wants me to go DPS. Though I am going
You get to
getting
do Samurai. Stop your whining.
yeah, but I am still taking Paladin to 70 because that's the job I started the game with. I can't just abandon it.
No, that's
Nobody's
good.
stopping you from doing it.
And the samurai is all about sword combos, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samurai is
about-
going to be the one that hits really, really hard.
Yeah.
I guess that's better than being the one who throws money at people for some reason.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
waiting for them, just as a
Right.
joke, to add guilt toss.
Yeah. That's what one of our white mages, big crafter. So she's like, I want guild toss, and I'll just throw my millions of gil at the boss and get us a free win.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward. Like, I'm looking forward to Paladin changes because I like Paladin just for how straightforward and intuitive it was.
Yeah.
With Dark Knight, it was a lot of buff your or here's your buffs, and now you buff your buffs with Dark Arts, but watch your mana, and then you're having a hard time keeping your mana up, and it was just.
I
it
don't
was
think
a
I
lot
would
more
have got
stressful.
anywhere near as good as the game I am if I didn't start with Paladin, honestly. Like,
It's
I
a
learned
very
so
good-
much about the basics of the game on Paladin, it's not even funny.
It's a very intuitive class, very simple, straightforward, but effective.
Mhm.
I give Jesse shit every now and then because they throw so many monk jokes my way. But I like Paladin. I wanted to like Dark Knight because the motif and the armor just looks amazing. But Paladin is just, it's so much fun.
Like,
and
I
so
had to
simple.
get good at Paladin to beat A12, but I did not like it at all. Like, I honestly don't really like the playstyle of Warrior and Dark Knight. I much prefer Paladin, I'm the tank, try and kill me, asshole.
Yeah.
Up until I figured out how to do the 3 fell cleaves in a row, I was like pretty mild on Warrior. Then I did that, and I was like, oh, I see the appeal now.
Yeah. Warrior's a lot of fun too.
It's like I can see it's fun, but I'm just personally not the biggest fan. Like, if I needed to run Warrior for something, I would, but I would much rather be the Paladin.
That's why I'm the Paladin. I just like standing there and letting somebody punch me in the face going, "What you got? What you got?"
Bitch, you and Alexander, come at me. So yeah, old Omega's gonna be fun.
I like Omega, but I'm looking forward to Avalise. That one has got me like,
Yeah,
because they have been hinting at that so hard with all the Ascians and everything.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Gollix, I looked up the primal count currently, including the two new ones. We have 22 primals.
That's a good number.
That is, of course, counting the Warring Triad separately. So,
did they work? Is that one encounter, or are they separate encounters?
Oh, they're separate encounters.
Yeah,
separate.
Oh
yeah, I
god,
saw
the
that. They gave them weird
PTSD
names.
of freaking Sephiroth.
I suppose having to fight them together would super suck.
Sophia actually wasn't that bad, but most of my issue with Sephiroth was connection issues. Because I was still using wireless.
Oh.
So, your main tank is disconnected. No!
You get blown away.
Yep. Oh, shit. Speaking of getting blown away, damn you, Labored Leap. Throw a battle, save me.
Your body be there, just your body's just useless without its controller, and it just flies away.
I think the one things I'm looking forward to the most that isn't job related is the item level, the item increase for your inventory.
Oh yes, please.
Oh god, yes.
Because they're doing that for not only items, they're doing it for the armory chest, and I think the retainers as well.
Yeah, aren't we getting at least one page to start?
It's like
and
1.5.
And then, depending on how the servers take it, we could get more, which I am okay with. I'm already almost full on my armory chest because I've been trying to level some jobs before the server shut down.
I have only room for 2 more weapons because I level everything.
And you have to keep those open in order to switch jobs, basically. Yeah. So I guess, Drak, what was your favorite part of 3.0?
Oh, 3.0. I will say I like... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure A12 was one of them.
Yeah, being able to beat it was one of them. That was
we
really
were
nice.
so close. I'm kind of bummed about that, but that just means we can kill Omega on content.
Yeah, I mean, go for it. That's one of the things that I'm really going to be buckling down and trying to do. Being in A12 and having people who know how to use like FF logs, which I still think the game should have parsers in it. But
from your mouth to Yoshi P's ear.
I mean, like, I understand, people are going to harass other people. Just ban them then. Like, you still have that terms of service, don't be a dick to people.
Yeah.
Or don't use it to keep people out kind of a thing. So the whole thing of just like, we're going to just never do this to help the player base, which would have really, I think, alleviated a lot of Gordius.
Oh, yeah.
Because then people could see, I'm not doing as much damage as I could be, or I'm not doing my rotation properly, and then actually look and figure out how to, because you needed to be on point for Gordius.
Not only that, but meld all the VIT.
Yeah. Oh man, that was rough.
Something, never again.
Yeah.
No, delete Gordius. Just delete it.
It was bad. But my favorite part, I mean, there was a lot of good in it. I enjoy flying. That's a new thing that I really really
Although the Aether currents can go suck a dick.
I'm actually
Agreed.
I like the Easter egg hunt kind of a thing. Like it was annoying to an extent, but I liked the exploration and the finding it. But I'm just weird. I mean, after like the 5th area, I was like, all right, knock it off, guys. Let me get the fuck in the air. I'm
It's
done with
one
this
of
shit.
those, if they were either like less off the beaten path, or like once you got an Aether current for that section, you could fly in that section.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of like a
But,
cell phone tower.
that was pretty good. The addition there. So I'm trying to. I really liked what they did with crafters and gatherers doing the script system. What I did not like is that they made specializations for crafters, so that you could only get certain recipes, and all that did was they're like, oh, this will help, so that people aren't dominating the markets that are only crafting. But what people did was just make a whole bunch of alts,
Yeah.
and then just level them up. So they had all the crafters anyway, and they just switch back and forth between the alts. People who are hardcore crafting will find a way all the time.
Yeah.
So
They will make all of the money.
Yeah, and then locking people out of the red scripts when that was how you got your gear to the next step. So like you'd have to wait 7 weeks to get to be able to try and craft in high quality, like your main hand or your body piece or what have you. And then it's just like, oh, sorry, RNG and Hasty Touch did not like you. So it's not only going to, or you're just going to get a normal quality. So fuck you.
Or,
Wait
oh,
another
you
7
spent,
weeks.
a few $100,000 on materials? Hope
Yeah.
you like destroying it.
Yeah, it was bad. So I'm glad that they relieving that in Stormblood, because the script system, the collectible system was really cool. I liked it. I do like that. It's a new way of getting experience. It's a new way of getting materials. It's its own another mini game in itself, which was fun. I liked what they did with most of the jobs in Heaven's Word. Going in, I think everything except for White Mage and Monk are the only ones that are lackluster, in my opinion. Everything else that they've added looks fantastic. I'm a big fan of the Japanese motif and the scenery and stuff like that. So yeah, what they did in Heaven's Word was really good in that regard, I think. But I'm not gonna miss the snow. I absolutely despise it. It's not even like that fun snow where you're going in and you're like, oh, look, it's beautiful outside and it's pure white and sparkly. It's just like, it's dark, it's dreary, it's gray.
It's
I'm depressed.
Dark Souls if someone poured too much dandruff out.
It was a very depressing atmosphere, and not
Like,
one that I played.
I was about to say,
Did Heaven's Ward just make it winter everywhere? Or?
the
the
problem with the
yeah,
area
it's-
of where Heaven's Ward is in, during the big event for between 1.0 and 2.0, basically the magic of the area got messed up, and now they're trapped in an eternal winter, and there's nothing we can really do about it.
It used to be a nice grassland, and I
Mhm.
remember doing that, and then Bahamut went, nope. And the Aether just went like,
Tear
enjoy
through
your
everything.
snow.
Mhm.
Poloni was happy about it. She's like, you praised me, and now it's winter like me. So, but I didn't like the atmosphere at all. I hated going to Corythus for fate grinding, and I didn't like staying there for even more.
I've
stories.
learned to hate Fates after getting my relic, because I missed out on doing my
Which
2.0 relic, so I had to do the Atmas when they were relevant. No, never again.
You
Yeah.
should have been around for the 2.0 Atmos. You would have despised. You would have despised the hell out of Fates afterwards.
Jesse did like 3 or 4 relics before the nerf. And it's like,
Did he
why
cry?
do you do this? I don't know what's wrong with him. Like, he just gets this in his head, like, I'm gonna grind this out, and then he complains about being like burnt on the game. I'm like, it's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
for throwing your nose to the grindstone on something so monotonous.
Like, I
Myself.
wanted to get my Dark Knight relic done before 4.0 comes, but that's not happening because I still need to do the Umbrate.
Kind of sounds like Elk, except the opposite direction, to where
Yeah.
he just goes yeah into everything.
The man has at least 3 ults we know about.
4 total.
Oh, right, Cat.
Yeah.
God.
He is.
And they're
he's very
all
much
raid
into the
ready.
damage.
That's the terrifying thing.
Oh yes. And he's a student too, so I don't know how he does it.
He mainlines Red Bull.
Probably.
It's admirable yet concerning.
Yeah. We joke
It's
all the
rare.
time about having an intervention.
It's rare when I see him logged out.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say I did like the story of Heavensward at least. I personally felt it was better
Yeah,
than 2.0's story.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like how they handled the Warriors of Darkness. That's my only real complaint.
Mhm.
It's like they
Yeah,
had
I
them
wish
set up
they
for
would have
season
stayed
3.
around longer, or at least gave us a trial where we fought them for reals.
Yeah, they set us up for something big on them, and it just went, they got to go back to their home planet.
Yeah, I guess kind of
Yeah,
say
I-
kind of spoilers. They're from another universe, and they had to go back and save it.
Or I could have just been making a Simpsons reference.
Wouldn't be the first time that they've done something like that.
Yeah, join the Navy.
But yeah, the I actually, from fight-wise, I liked Sephiroth. That was my favorite fight.
Yeah,
in
Sephiroth
Heavensward.
was fun when my internet connection wasn't trying to actively get me killed.
Yeah, that's I know that feeling. I think
Yeah,
I
like-
even have it in the the best of clips where I'm running through, the AoE's still there, I'm on the other side, he brings his fist down, and I just take 30,000 damage. I'm like, well,
Yeah, that's
I don't-
one thing I didn't like about Creator is all the snapshot mechanics, and they didn't tell you
Ugh.
when they took the snapshot. That's
Yeah,
one thing I hope they change for Omega.
terrible.
Like, I'm
More than-
fine with snapshots, just let me know when you're taking it.
More than enough times during the few times I did A12 that so many people died to the snapshot of Radiant Sacrament.
Now the stuff from this expansion will still mostly be in the game, right? Even if they change it a little.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they're adding new stuff to go after it, or
Well, although I
Yeah, I
don't know
guess
how some of it will
options
work
look still there.
with the some of the changes. Like, they might have to retool some of it,
Yeah.
but overall, yeah, it'll still be accessible. Oh. But yes, other than, like, is there anything major that we haven't already talked about that you want to see in Stormblood? Like, that's probably not going to be in 4.0, but, like, later updates.
did they introduce classes partway through versions, or
Like, are you talking classes or
No,
jobs?
they
Jobs.
won't do that anymore. They did
Yeah.
it with Ninja, and then they vowed never again.
yeah,
Because
that sounds like it could be problematic.
it was a balancing nightmare for the raids. Because Ninja came out, and that was a case where the community came up with a better rotation than the dev team did. So Ninja
Perfect
was
dodge,
off the
perfect
chart.
dodge, perfect dodge.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it. There was this mechanic where the boss disappears, they come back down, and they basically, if you're targeted, it smacks you, so you spread out so it doesn't double the damage. But with perfect dodge, you wouldn't take the damage, but anybody around you would. So I would just hit perfect dodge, run up to somebody, hey, I was like the original Thunder Buddy. I was like, give me a hug, and then bam, somebody else got smacked with it, and then I'd run away laughing with no damage. So
Yeah.
it was that was a lot of fun, and just
So
the
that's
damage
why they-
output.
That's why they changed that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was getting abused to hell and back.
Also with turn 8, where you'd have to take this tether and then run away to absorb all the damage, and you just hit perfect dodge and you take no damage, just at all. So it was fantastic. It didn't matter if it was physical or magical; just nothing would hurt you.
God, that
I
reminds
love
me
that.
of when A5 came out. you could cover and take one of the concussion stacks and just break the boss's AI, and he wouldn't tank buster. It was great.
Did that? Oh wow! We never figured that out. That's
Yeah, we
that's
did
funny.
that a few times. I was like, wait, what?
That's awesome.
I mean,
So,
they obviously
yeah.
had to patch that out because, yeah, we could have to do some horrible damage with that.
Oh yeah. I think the biggest disappointment that people had was the lack of a third job introduced, which I thought that they still would, considering that in 2.0 they added Ninja, and then right after that they added Dark Knight, Machinist, and Astrologian. So it was 4 jobs basically for one patch or for one expansion cycle. Obviously, it was the Ladder of the Threer and Heavensward, but you still had 4 jobs released really close to each other, and then just to get 2 was a bit
Honestly,
disappointing.
if we didn't get as much changes to the battle system as we did, I would be more upset.
That's fair. We did get a lot.
Yeah, and they also said they'd be willing to break the rule on, you know, adding jobs in between, you know, expansions, depending on how well, you know, how much retooling they need to do for the other jobs in 4.0.
So Blue Mage would definitely not be something to introduce partway through.
Probably not.
Probably not, but you never know.
I still say Geomancer as healer would be nice.
That does seem to be. I've heard that a lot, so there might be something to that.
It fits too well with the Conjurer thing, where you have to attune with the elements. It's like Geomancer attunes with the elements.
But as far as adding anything midway, I'm kind of happy with what they've announced so far. There hasn't really been anything that I can think of that stuck out. That's like, oh, I hope that this is something there. There are a few.
I sure as hell know that my tank jobs are going to be leveled pretty quickly.
Yeah. I do hope that in the future, that just in general, not necessarily anything specific for the game, but I hope Square gives them more resources and people to actually do what they want to do, because the game is doing well for them, and they need to stop being like, oh, but these little pet projects on the side, we're just going to take your people here and take your people here, because that worked out so well.
They need VR fishing right now.
I was so disenchanted with Final Fantasy XV, and so the corporate side of Square Enix, or whoever decides who goes from what team to another, they're on my shit list right now.
But cup noodles.
I heard 15 was at least fun, and it's certainly better than it looked before.
The ending was a clusterfuck, though.
It was.
Yeah, I've heard that there were some issues with that.
The first half.
That there were plans to improve, but
yeah, I thought.
No, but just like compared to what it was early on, when it was all just.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it at least came out like with a fun feel to it, which is better than Nomura.
Yeah.
No offense to people who like Nomura.
It was the combat that kind of didn't do it for me, because I was like, Devil May Cry has a good weapon swapping system that feels a lot less clunky. They could have done something a little bit more like that.
Like, it's trying to be Kingdom Hearts, but it's not as fast as Kingdom Hearts, and it's not as simple.
Fair enough.
I didn't quite get what they were going with that. Like the teleporting system, but then you also had the jump scare chapter, and I was like, oh, do you feel powerless and afraid? I'm like, no, I have the most powerful item in the game, and all you're doing, I know when it's coming. I see that guy on the floor. He's gonna jump out at me. Oh, look, he jumped out at me. I was so scared, guys.
I still need to replay the other half of that, because I switched and haven't went back to doing that. To Nox version of it. Because apparently I have to replay up to that part of the game again, and I'm not looking forward to it.
But I mean, I like that hunting system. Anyway, I hope that they don't steal from the 14 team again. I hope that they keep adding people to it and giving them more ability to add more to the game.
Like, I will say, I'm kind of glad we're getting the turn 2 team back, or second coil team back. So that's going to be fun. Because though I didn't run second coil, I've heard good things about it.
Second coil was a very good time. It was a lot of fun.
And especially if they keep it with the difficulty of Alexander Creator, so, normal people can do it.
Yeah.
Like, that is kind of one thing that's kind of pissed me off about the hardcore team. It's like, yeah, we need stuff to be super hard. It's like, how about the other, 7 million players?
Yeah. It's a difficult thing to balance, but...
Although Super Savage is, I guess, their thing now, which I'm okay with 3 tiers of,
Super Savage?
Oh, yeah, you did...
I'm hearing of this.
Basically, it's going to be one fight that's going to break your balls. Just no mercy.
Tank Buster. My lungs, why?
You'll be lucky if you see the Tank Buster. But yeah,
fast cast Tank Buster. It's a nightmare.
No cast Tank Buster. What the hell are you talking about? No tells, no cast, just pray. You'll figure out it was a Tank Buster when you're dead.
The boss just blinks and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, my little terror is awake. Hello. Up. Okay.
So, I guess we're kind of getting close to the end here. Oh, hi, little baby.
Yeah,
Say
wrap
hi.
it up here.
No.
With our hopes for the future. Oh, Balsar's Wall, thank you.
But yeah, I guess one thing I want to see first the final changes on Paladin and see if it needs any adjustments. If it doesn't, I know White Mage still might need some help because they're taking away all its utility, and how you'd like to see it get that back. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Aside from that,
Oh.
maybe more dungeons? Like, I know they're probably gonna do, 2 dungeons, then 1, then 2, then 1. I kind of wish that it was, a little more than that, but as long as the other content we get is interesting, I guess I'll be fine with it. Anybody else's thoughts for what they want in the future?
I feel like if I said something, it wouldn't be fair, and it would probably mostly be a joke. Because I don't even know exactly what's in the game to start with.
I'd like to see more dungeons, because I was kind of unsatisfied with the...
Well, and also more different things, one thing that Seabass mentioned is being, healing the boss and keeping them from dying, as opposed to, oh, look, there's a big guy, go kill it.
Yeah, more variety would be nice.
Twilight, anything you want to see in the future?
Not really that comes to mind at the moment. I really don't have anything I want to see at the moment. Or in the future, I mean.
Drak, you have anything?
As long as I'm pretty much satisfied.
I think we've gone over everything that I've been looking forward to, but I appreciate. I do want to say I appreciate the another chance to be on here with you guys and talk with everything.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's always a pleasure.
All right. So I guess, is Adam around yet?
I've been here the whole time. I've just been not paying attention.
All right. So, do we want to go to the topic of discussion?
It's nearly it's 10:20. So
All right.
it's about time. Remember, we still have
right, because we have uploading limits.
Yeah, it's like until we can fix that issue on your computer there, it's like if we don't end it now, we aren't going to be able to get up the podcast version.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I guess you can do the outro stuff while I get ready for music.
Yeah. So first off, we have no MSP episode tonight. Mac canceled like at the 11th hour.
Mhm.
Due to personal exhaustion and busyness or something.
Yeah, he's apparently got. He wasn't specific with the details, but he's apparently been too busy this week, so that kind of throws that schedule into a bit of a chaos. Everything.
So his plan is for, who was it, Cara Dennison?
I believe so.
To be next week.
Yeah. So.
And so on down the line, although we'll see which guests are amenable to rescheduling by a week.
Yeah, I need to contact Jesse Cox and see if he can reschedule.
Right. So on Friday, we're going to have a multiplayer session with Zombie Vikings.
Yeah, because our last multiplayer session didn't go over well.
No, it was a terrible piece of shit because the game was a terrible piece of shit.
Yeah, we couldn't get in on a multiplayer session with each other except by sheer chance.
I've played about an hour and a half of Zombie Vikings. It's a pretty solid brawler, and it's got like 4-player co-op. I believe it's online.
And the other game you're reviewing is one only you got, I think?
Yes, it's a game called Drifting Land. It's like a RPG shmup combination. Admittedly, I don't know too much about this game because of E3 week, I'm kind of behind on my game playing because, oh, hey, all of this E3 content.
And I guess for those of you who want to know our real thoughts on E3, we do our E3 topic next week.
Yeah, we refrain from, we've got the raw stuff on our archives, but our fully developed thoughts don't come until after the event's done and we've had some time to process everything.
Yeah, we like to take some time to think about it, especially since if we did it now, it would be buried in the tide of everybody else putting out their immediate impressions.
Also, Metroid.
Also, Metroid.
Yeah.
Also, I guess if you are looking for something MSP related, we did have an interview with Richard Epcar last week that I'm putting in the chat. If you want to go listen to that.
We got him do the Joseph Joestar voice. I was so happy.
Did you like that I sent you the thing?
Oh, I have it on my phone. I play it like almost once a day.
I could probably help you make that your texting tone, so whenever someone gives you a text message, it goes, "Oh my god."
I showed that to Naka earlier. I was like, "Oh, we gotta interview him," and all of a sudden, here's this voice of going.
What did he say?
He was giddy too, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm sure if Naka, would have been able to, he would have liked to have been on that interview, but
But yeah, that was a really good interview, so you should go and watch it. Not enough people have watched it.
It's also one of our best of the season, except for Drak.
Anyway, so that'll about do it for today. But yeah, and until next time, I wish you good gaming.
Stormblood.